Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash, and it's Premier League week 22. It's flying. We've got about 16 weeks to go. But listen, what a tough weekend it was. If you went with Spurs before the Liverpool game last week, gutted that Harry Kane then limps off because they're a different outfit. And now this week, they play host to Chelsea. So there'd be a lot of people that would fancy Chelsea. We've got Martin, we've got Matt with us. But first of all, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that I can notify you and you'll never miss any content again. And I do like to move the schedule around. You press the link in the description. That'll take you over to the articles wrote by either Martin or Tan or Alex or any other sport that we cover here on SBR. There will be articles over there. You do not want to miss the end of this show. I've come up with a plus 1,800 bet. Plus 1,800. Gone for it. I'm not messing about anymore with these little minus 110s and plus 120s. I've put three together. You get them right, it's plus 1,800. So we'll look forward to that. Some people think I've just gone completely crazy. Welcome to Crick Freak from Nepal, most beautiful part of the world. Always wanted to go there, always wanted to just sit there for a few months and do absolutely nothing. Zen Buddhism, no thing. Also, welcome back, Mississippi Kid. Martin, you was going to say that I sit here and do nothing.
Well, quite, Flash. I'm glad you said it and I didn't have to.
Well, exactly. I knew it was coming. I know, I can rely on one of my teammates. Matt, good weekend for you in the Premier League?
Yes, it was. It was another good week. Just trying to keep it rolling right now. I mean, there's so many fixtures coming up thick and fast. I mean, it's fun right now. Just trying to keep a good streak going.
Yeah, listen, there was I thought we gave some great analysis last week. But first of all, on the Newcastle away at Everton. I know you still went for Everton, though, Martin, but we said that if they set up with the upside down horseshoe, they will be really, really tough to beat, frustrate, and they got their reward. Also, West Brom, knowing they went 1-0 down, they kept themselves together and were unlucky not to have the 3 points. But me being unlucky elf, went with both teams to score an over in the Arsenal-Man United game and maybe some cards. Neither. Absolutely nish. 0-0. And the funny thing is, Martin, I opened up by going, Arsenal versus Man United. Man United normally go to these big sides and it's 0-0. And then I go for both teams to score an over.
Yeah, it was a better game than the actual scoreline suggests. Both teams had pretty good chances. Arsenal probably slightly better team, but Cavani could have won it late on for Man United as well. It was quite disappointing to see such a drab scoreline in the end. But I think that's often the case when the big six teams play one another this season. There's been quite a lot of underwhelming games, so hopefully we'll learn from that in the future and maybe consider unders next time one of them plays. I think the point you made about Harry Kane earlier is really important as well. It shows the importance of waiting and seeing the starting 11 before going too hard on your bets, because there was no indication that Kane was going to miss out through injury, and then we saw the starting 11 and he wasn't in the team, and suddenly that's a different ball game for Spurs. They're a bit toothless without him leading the line, so you wouldn't really want to be betting on them without him. And at this time of season, when there's so many games coming in thick and fast, managers do rest players and rotate their squad, so does show that probably worth waiting a bit closer to the match before really going hard on your bets.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Rampage in the chat saying that I killed him with the Alex Classic and the Arsenal Man United. Don't worry, I killed myself as well, but it's not very often that I do one of them video bankers over the weekend and get it wrong, because in Bundesliga I went 3-1 and absolutely crushed it again. Schalke picking up a point. We said that Schalke will be on the way back. Matt, they tell me my Twitter absolutely blew up with Southampton versus Villa. We had the Alex Classic, 2 goals disallowed, penalties not given. Southampton have got to get rubber to green sooner or later.
Definitely. Yeah, that one was, I think that Southampton should have had the equalizer for sure, and it should have ended up at least 1-1. But I did have Villa draw no bet, so I can't really say I was too disappointed.
No, exactly. I mean, I don't get that. Listen, if it puts money in your pocket, then you cheer away. But we had the Liverpool debacle earlier on in the season. Then we have Matty Cash saving one. Honestly, he should wear gloves. And yet VAR don't get involved. And then when you look at the referee, it's Mike Dean. He's like a law unto himself, Martin.
Yeah, I've never really been a fan of Mike Dean, to be honest. He's one of the refs that really likes to make it all about himself and take centre stage. Whereas the best referees, you don't really notice them that much. They're in the background. They make sensible decisions. They let the game flow. But he just loves making controversial decisions, loves making headlines, and loves to be star of the show. So I'm always wary. Whenever there's an Arsenal game and he's the ref, I'm always really wary.
Yeah, there's so many that I'm really wary of. But listen, let's crack on. And first of all, Rampage, I love the balance. You absolutely slaughtered me a minute ago, but then you came back with thanks for the 2-0 for Stuttgart and Bayern Munich to win and both teams to score, which were both plus money. Okay, well, now listen, this week's card, let's really try and delve and get like our crystal balls out and see which way the game's going to go. I want to come to you first. Matt, Sheffield United at -105, draw plus 245, and West Brom at massive plus 365. Sheffield United are now starting to show green shoots of recovery. Is that desperation, or is it just a manager keeping the same way that they play? And if it's good enough, it's good enough.
Yeah, this is a really tough one. This is a tough one to lead off on because it's one of those matches where I really have no interest betting. I think that maybe it's a match to look in play, possibly, because maybe the bookies have this one right, and that they have Sheffield as such a big favorite, hovering around this 1.8 range. It's just not for me. I don't know. It's really tough, but I noticed that West Brom on the road, 6 straight road matches, both teams to score has come in. Sheffield have been scoring a little bit. I could see both teams to score coming in here at 2.1, but really just nothing here for me to dive in and actually make a bet on it.
Okay, well, Martin, I'm going to go with probably draw half time. I think that both of these sides, it's a little bit like the West Brom Fulham game where both sides are going to identify this game as picking up points. You've got to make sure you don't go behind in the game. And the thing is with Sheffield United at the moment is they are sticking together. And if ever there's a side that you like, you're going to go into relegation, the first thing you've got to say in that group is you must stick together.
Yeah, I'm really tempted to go for Sheffield United in this game. They've been so impressive in recent weeks. For a team that's bottom of the league, beat Man United, only lost 1-0 to Man City, who are, cruising to the title. They fight for every ball. They're well organised. They're disciplined. They really haven't had the rub of the green this season. I think they've been very unfortunate. They were often losing by a single goal here and there. But they do seem to have a bit more belief and togetherness right now. Could they pull off a great escape? It's probably not looking likely now. They're some way behind Brighton after that win against Spurs at the weekend. But you never know. If they keep picking up points, the main weakness for West Brom is their defence is terrible. They conceded 15 goals in 5 matches last month. Sam Allardyce hasn't shored that up at all, and that'll be a real concern for him. Whether Sheffield United have the actual ability to exploit those defensive weaknesses for West Brom, I'm not 100% sure, which is why I'm probably not going to pull the trigger on it. But I'm definitely leaning towards Sheffield United.
Okay, well, in the chat, we've got Watch Me Now saying Sheffield to win. Sheffield what? Sheffield what? I don't know. There's no Sheffield in the Premier League. You need to add a little bit more because it's 2 completely different identities. Well, I'm going to go with draw half time around the plus 100. Next game, I've done this on purpose, so I'm well organised here, Martin. Wolves plus 255, which is massive at home. Draw plus 240. Arsenal plus 135. We love a draw half time with Wolves. Arsenal was starting to maybe get it together, even though they had a duck egg next to their name against Man United. Do we think Arsenal go there and pick something up?
I think they go there and pick something up. Yeah, they're unbeaten in 7 games right now, which I guess arguably makes them the form team of the Premier League, apart from Man City. They haven't been playing great teams, which is what's allowed them to put a run of results together. But right now, you can't say that Wolves are a great team. They've slumped down to 14th in the table. had a dreadful run of form last month, really missing Jimenez up front. I don't know if that psychologically affected the players, but they've really been a bit toothless in attack, and they're not as solid in defence as they usually have been either. So the table's making pretty grim reading for them now. Obviously, they've got Willian Jose on loan, so they're going to hope that he's going to fire in the goals they need. But I think there's a confidence issue. They lost to West Brom. You know, they're not playing well. Arsenal have got the wind in their sails a bit. Arsenal have got a bigger squad as well. They managed to get a draw with Man United despite Tierney, Saka and Aubameyang not playing. They can rotate the troops a bit for this one, shuffle the pack, and I think they should have enough to get at least a draw. So I'm going Arsenal draw, no bet. But yeah, I think they might just sneak victory. Wolves are always a dangerous team, but yeah, I'm with Arsenal here.
Matt, the problem we have with Wolves is the ball keeps coming back. There's no one up there to relieve the pressure. There's no figurehead. There's no one there to maybe finish off all the good work. So if it's going to keep coming back, maybe this is an unders game.
I do like the unders a bit. This is a really tough one here because if you look at some of the last times that these two teams have played, Wolves have gotten the better of Arsenal 2 of the last 4. There's a draw mixed in there, and then Arsenal have won 2. But Wolves have only won 1 out of their last 11 Premier League matches. I thought that was shocking. I mean, Arsenal, these are 2 teams going in completely different directions right now. And I agree with Martin here. I think that I would be on Arsenal, maybe minus a quarter, draw no bet, something like that. Looks pretty good. I don't see them getting beat here. I just can't trust Wolves. But, you know, I liked Wolves last week when they were playing, what was it, Chelsea, I believe. And I said that they get up for these Big Six clashes. I mean, they're going to keep it tight. This isn't going to be easy. It's a really coin flippy kind of match, and I just don't really want to get involved. But it's maybe a lineup check or something like that. But there's some good angles out there. Even a halftime draw is in the mix. So I don't know. Maybe I've gone through every single option. But there is
win for Wolves.
It's a good one. It's a good match, and I'm happy to pass it.
I'll tell you what's not a good angle. There's 95 of you watching. 19 of your thumbs up. You know that thing there? If you press it, it turns blue. Some say it turns black because they're colorblind. But if you press that, that shows appreciation. YouTube then will be happy to send out links that say, you need to watch this video because people like it. So that's your job. And if you like what they do, the boys, obviously you don't need to like what I do because I'm just like the dummy that talks to them. But show their appreciation. And we need to get that thumbs up. There's 100 of you watching. 23, so that's 23%. I can do that really, really quickly. I'm going with, I'm going to leave the game alone, to be fair. But I think it's an unders game. Next game, Villa, plus 125. I knew they wouldn't get beat at the Mighty Saints. Draw, plus 240. West Ham, plus 255. And Dwayne, when you said it hit his thigh first, it hits thigh onto his hand. If his hand's not in the way, it hits his thigh and goes towards a goal. Penalty. Okay, Villa at plus 125. Interested in that, Matt?
Not really. West Ham have they kind of have Villa's number a bit. I mean, this is a matchup that West Ham really fancy themselves, and Villa have kept 3 consecutive home clean sheets. So this looks to me, I mean, both teams to score is really short if you look at it. It's like around minus 200. I mean, this looks like this is one of the better matchups of the week. I really like this one. 2 teams in good form. I'm not going to, diminish anything that West Ham has done from a really good Liverpool performance yesterday. It's just really tough because I like both of these sides. I think the best way to attack this one is the Alex Classic. Don't choose a winner. Both teams should find the back of the net here and get it over 2.5 goals. So that is where I would go here. It's around 1.8, I believe. So that's a pretty good angle for this one.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that because if you have a look when West Ham go away recently, and the big one that sticks in my head is Everton away, Martin. They go there, they nick an 85th minute winner because all they did was make sure that the opposition didn't have any shots on goal. It's almost like 9.5 men behind the ball, break away, get a set piece. And David Moyes has got them really, really organised. I know that Liverpool broke away on them, but Liverpool broke away on Spurs and scored 3, broke away on West Ham and scored 3.
Yeah, Emiliano Martinez has kept 8 clean sheets this season now. He's second in the race for the Golden Glove behind Ederson, and we all know how well Man City have been doing at the back recently. So they're grinding out a lot of clean sheets, which you might not normally associate with Aston Villa because they're quite a free-flowing attacking team. So they're really, really excelling at both ends of the pitch right now. Grealish was terrific again at the weekend, but yeah, I admit I went for the Alex Classic in Aston Villa Southampton. I thought that would be a really great, entertaining game, and Southampton didn't threaten.
Well, it would have been if Mike Dean hadn't got involved.
There you go. Well, that's another thing that you've always got to factor in when you're betting on football, I guess, isn't it? But I've got a sneaking suspicion that West Ham can get something here. Their unbeaten start to 2020 did come to an end against Liverpool, but there's no great shame in that when Mohamed Salah's on fire. He's a world-class player, and fair enough, they lost, but they've been really, really solid. You mentioned that Everton game. There's been several performances like that from them this season where they just grind out results. They've only lost 6 out of 21 games, and yeah, they've just been in fine form. I was going to go for West Ham draw no bet. I think I actually went for double chance in the end because there's just good odds on either option coming in. I'm leaning towards them. I think they get a result at Villa Park.
Okay, love the fact that we've doubled it up to 49 thumbs up. Who's going to be number 50 with 100 of you watching? Also, welcome to Harman Kardon, who's actually in North Korea, which is one of the first for me, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm going to go draw half-time on this game as well. I think draw half-time is like a plus 125. I can see West Ham frustrating. And if they don't get a breakaway goal, I can definitely see this being a 0-0 and all the action being in the second half. I'm not sure about the overs here because I think West Ham could do a number. They're big and strong, well organised, and I don't feel as if they're going to be isolated too much. Next game, you flip a coin because if I go anywhere near Leicester, you go with the opposition. If I go with the opposition, you go with Leicester. Fulham, plus 325. And then normally I'd be looking at maybe plus 450, plus 500. Draw, plus 235. And Leicester at plus 100, Matt. Can you trust Leicester without Vardy?
Not really. No, this is another one that's, Fulham won the reverse fixture. Fulham have been, they've been tough. At least I liked how they hung in that game against West Brom. I know that you had West Brom. I was watching it late on. It was a really good cross into the box from the wide position that got that one equalized. But here, I mean, it's a pretty good price on Leicester. I could see Leicester getting the job done here, but it's just, I think that I would rather be on the unders here. I think that this one is kind of cagey. It's close for a while, 0-0 maybe for a long time. Under 2.5, minus 110. I mean, that appeals to me more so than playing Leicester here. I think that this is like a 1-0, 1-1 type of match. So 1-0.
I'll tell you what, the player that's really, really impressed me over the last 6 months is Harvey Barnes. When he first came into the side about 18 months ago, I was thinking he's weak. I'll tell you what, his upper body strength has got better. He's found another yard of pace. He's been direct. And now, Martin, he feels part and parcel of this squad and of this team because no one's heard of Damari Gray since Harvey Barnes put his best foot forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think Harvey Barnes is a quality player. He looked brilliant towards the end of last season and at the start of this season, but he kept missing chances. There was no composure in the final third. He's totally turned that around now. He's turned into a fantastic finisher and he's really living up to his potential. So he's dangerous in every game. I think he's got real high potential. I think he's going to be an excellent player for Leicester for many seasons if he stays there. But the issue I have for Leicester at the moment is that they've got too many of those type of players. He's not an out-and-out striker. He's a wide player, just like all Brighton, just like Perez. Maddison likes to drop into the hole. There's no one getting on the edge of the last defender and really leading the line. They didn't play Iheanacho in the last game, and they lost 3-1. Not sure what Brendan Rodgers is going to do with his starting 11 in this one. But yeah, I just think that makes them a little toothless in attack. They really don't have a plan B when Vardy's out. As soon as he comes back in the team, I'll be betting on Leicester again. But if he's probably still going to be out injured for this one, then I'm not playing it. I'm with Matt. If I was going for anything, I'd be going unders on this game because Fulham are the masters of grinding out really low-scoring draws at the moment.
Yeah, and a really tight pitch down there at Craven Cottage as well. All the players seem to be like bees around a honeypot. I mean, there seems to be very, very little space, and Fulham have a good game plan. Next game, though, is another flip of a coin because you've got Leeds, Martin, at plus 155, and a great result at the weekend away at Leicester, winning 3-1. Draw plus 255, and Everton at plus 195. Now, both of these sides are like Jekyll and Hyde. What are we going to get? Is this a both teams to score an over, or is this a dour 1-0, one of them walks away with 3 points?
Yeah, well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin came flying out of the blocks, didn't he, this season, in like 11 goals in 11 games. He hasn't scored since the 5th of December. He's the Dominic Calvert-Lewin that we all remember from previous seasons. They've looked a bit limp in attack. Yeah, they're not creating enough chances for him, but they've gone well off the boil after making a really strong start to the season. They're sliding down the table. You never really know what you're going to get with Everton. Sometimes they'll surprise you. They go on a bad run and they just remember how to play and trounce a team. It's the same with Leeds. Sometimes they go off the boil. They rarely seem to draw. They either win heavily or get taken apart. It's their high intensity strategy. It's going to be an interesting clash between two very acclaimed coaches in Bielsa and Ancelotti. Who prevails? Personally leaning towards Everton. Don't like the Leeds goalkeeper. I think sometimes they have a habit of pulling out a result when you least expect it, but don't like this game very much at all, so pass.
I think it's going to be an entertaining game, though. It's whether we get the goals, because the one thing that Everton need now is to be making sure that they're stable at the back. They do not get pulled around, because when they get pulled around, listen, it's like the old Panama Canal. The gates are opening and you just sail on through, Matt.
Yes. I wanted to touch on one thing. So do we think that Harvey Barnes can maybe make the bench for the England internationals this summer?
I think he's got to be in the squad.
I think he needs to, too. So I'm glad that you guys, do you agree, Martin? Do you think that he should be in the squad?
Yeah, I think he's definitely knocking on the door. It depends at whose expense it's going to be, because I'd say the main wingers would be Sterling and Sancho. Mm-hmm. As an Arsenal fan,
there you go already. I mean, how's Harvey Barnes behind Sancho?
Wow, Sancho started a lot of games for England.
Yeah, listen, I've seen him start. He don't really contribute much though. Have you seen Dortmund? They're absolutely gaga.
I'd be going for Saka anyway in the team because I'm an Arsenal
fan.
And, but no, I think Harvey Barnes definitely has the potential to break into that team. But are you going to play Grealish out on the left? Because Grealish is competing with Mason Mount and James Maddison for that playmaker.
I think Grealish is a shoo-in now. And what about Foden? I'd play Grealish and Foden in behind Kane if he's fit.
Yeah, me too. I can't leave out Sterling. I can't leave out Raheem Sterling.
No, he plays on the right.
So what, you're going to play Grealish on the left?
No, I'm going to play I'm going to play Sterling, Grealish
on the left,
and Foden.
Foden on the left.
I like that.
There's three of them. They can go where they like.
I like that a lot. Yeah, with Kane.
I do too.
Yeah, love that.
England Grealish maybe out wide left.
Yeah. No, because you got Ben Chilwell, who's a flying machine down the left. So what you do is you play with three centre halves, and then you play with Chilwell wide on the left. And then you play with maybe Saka on the right, or you get Sterling to do that job. And then you just play with like maybe a Henderson and a Ward-Prowse, or Henderson and a Rice. And honestly, I'll end up with like 14 players.
That's right. You can't leave Trent Alexander-Arnold out of the team.
Well, I'm glad I brought that up. It's a fun topic because I mean, there's so many different interchanging, ways to look at it. So. But so for here in this one, I wrote down Alex Classic. I don't know. I just know whenever that I've taken a Leeds Alex Classic, I think that Leeds their matches are averaging 4 goals per game. Where I haven't been able to get too much love on their Leeds matches when I bet on. I've had a couple bankers. I think that my last time I had a banker on this game, it was the Alex Classic, and it didn't come in. It should have come in. I remember that, but it didn't. So that's where I would go here, minus 120. I just don't really want to pick a winner. I don't know who's going to win this game, but Leeds matches generally are up-tempo. Everton should have to play that similar up-tempo style. It'll force them into different action, and I think that we see both teams find the back of the net and don't pick a winner, and it goes over 2.5.
Okay, I'm not so sure. I think anything's possible in this game. Andreas, you're a wicked man, saying you hope that Man United buy Sancho for a plus 100 million. Manchester Red said, no, royal blood. So we are amongst royalty this morning. Says, what about Rashford? I did actually mention Rashford. You'd be tough ass to leave him out. Let's move on, because fancy this is a draw half time, and it could well be a draw after 90 minutes or 93 minutes as well. Matt, Newcastle plus 190, draw plus 240, Crystal Palace plus 165. Flip that coin.
Line up checker for me. It's like it's exactly the same. I see it exactly the same way as Palace versus Wolves at the weekend. I mentioned individual players. Palace ended up having it, didn't I? Believe Zaha got on the score sheet there, didn't he? And that's kind of what it was all about. So here in this one, if Newcastle put together a pretty good lineup, like I think that they have the capabilities to hurt Palace. I think that both teams could find the back of the net here. I don't really have anything until I see these lineups, because it's really tough. I mean, because Newcastle has kept St. Maximum on the bench, and he's been coming on around the 65-minute mark. I want him to play the full 90 minutes. I think he's ready to go now. And I mean, there was a portion, guys, last season, at the beginning of this season, where we were like, okay, let's start taking some Newcastle United over 2.5s when they have their full lineup. So that's I don't think it's a horrible shout, but I just need to see the lineups here first, really.
Okay, 60 thumbs up against 111. Watching, really appreciating all of you that watch. And if you are new and you have just subscribed, then please come in the chat. They're a friendly bunch. Obviously, there's a few there that have not woken up yet. We hope to see them again soon. They know who they are. But please get your leans, get your bankers, because at the end we'll have a 2-team parlay. And remember, I've come up with a plus 1,800 bet for 3 teams that I've put together. Martin, Newcastle Palace. A blind man says it's a draw.
Yeah, it could easily be a draw. Crystal Palace get a lot of draws. They're very organised at the back. They do have dangerous players in attack that can turn a game on its head, like Zaha and Eze. But they're a pretty conservative team in the way they play. They don't really have a bunch of chances in a game. And I'd say the same about Newcastle. They have started to field a few more attacking players and go for it a bit more. They did well to beat Everton last time out, but a lot of unders games when these teams play. I'm just looking at the head-to-heads. You actually have to go back to 2015 for the last time a game between them went over 2.5 goals. Since then, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 0-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 2-0. So I'm going under 2.5 goals. Don't think this is going to be a particularly exciting game. I think it's going to be dull.
Yeah, and I like the draw at half time as well. I think it's another one where Newcastle have got to make sure that they listen. They're not potent, so they've got to make sure they don't go behind. Palace, they huff and they puff. Next game, Man United minus 190. Martin, draw plus 340, and the Mighty Saints at plus 640. Saints are struggling to score goals. They're struggling to create proper golden opportunities. I see Man United here giving them maybe a 3-0, 3-1 beating, which means that Man United at minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap at plus 130, I had to take it.
I'd be happy if Man United gave them a 3-1 beating, because I think I'm going for Man United and under 4.5 goals. The last game between these two was terrific. Southampton went 2-0 up. David De Gea couldn't save that Ward-Prowse free kick. Fernandes pulled one back after the break, and then Cavani came off the bench and scored twice.
I had 2-2, didn't I? Right. I had both teams to score and draw. 93rd minute.
Because he got that very, very late winner. But I don't think it's going to be as high scoring this time around. Man United didn't really offer much against Arsenal. Neither did Arsenal, to be fair. It was quite a dull game. But I think these players are tired now. They've been, playing week in, week out. Southampton have lost 3 on the bounce. They just look like they've run out of steam a bit.
Defensively, they're struggling. Defensively, they are struggling.
And Cavani's movement is just brilliant. And you know the way they mark at set pieces, he can get in between them. Cavani, anytime goal scorer, if he starts, looks like a really good bet for me. But yeah, my main one is Manchester United to win, under 4.5 goals, minus 105.
Okay, Freddie, can you turn the blowers off? I feel as if I'm on the North Pole. Matt, what do you think? Man United, Southampton. Southampton get anything out of the game, or is it a straightforward Man United win?
I think it'll be a grinded out Manchester United victory. I think that your guys' breakdown of it is perfect. And it's starting to really motivate me here. I kind of wanted to pass this match, to be honest. I thought that maybe both teams to score was in play because of what Southampton have done in the past. But we're right, guys. I mean, they're ice cold right now. They really are. And both teams to score is a dodgy minus 140 price. I don't love it. I think that this is the right angle. I think that the Martin Classic United and under 4.5 goals at minus 110 is the play here. Because Southampton's defense is still quality. It's not gonna be easy for United to just come and break them down. I mean, this game should be tight for a little bit, but I believe that United will prevail here. This feels like a 2-0, a 3-0, a 3-1. I mean, it stays under 4.5. This is a good one. I'm adding this one to the list, minus 110.
I wouldn't put anyone off a little crazy bet both teams to score or Man United win to 0. I just think that Southampton have got to start getting something out of the game and show a little bit more belief. But with the defensive problems they've got, they can be got at, and they're not together. So for me, Man United, minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap at plus 130. Too much pace, too much movement, and Man United dropped points away at Arsenal last week. Need to get back on it if they're going to chase their near neighbours, Man City. Now, talking to Man City, well, they travel to Burnley. Burnley plus 1,600, draw plus 600, and Man City at minus 420. Burnley, great comeback win last week against Villa at home, but then they go to Chelsea and they have a duck egg next to their name, Matt.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I was nervous about that one just because the way I saw the market moved, it was almost like it was written in the stars that Burnley were going to get beat by 2 goals. It was one of those. I mean, because they rarely get beat by more than that. So just a margin in general. It was close. It was close to winning, but it ended up not coming in here. This one was the easiest one for me to look at. Didn't even have to really do too much research here. I'm going to just continue riding the streak until it falls off. City win to 0, minus 107 here. Burnley, hopefully we get a similar performance like against Chelsea. And we see now, guys, what Thomas Tuchel is wanting to implement to Chelsea. Keep the ball away, passing. There's a ton of passing. Sometimes, there's not enough incisive passing, but it's keeping the ball away. We know exactly what City do better than anyone, guys. They keep the ball away from these teams. They pass around them. It makes their defending so much easier. And on top of it, they have the best defense in the league by a wide margin for me, really. So City win to 0. I think that this is a 1-0, 2-0.
Wow. Yeah. Burnley at plus 1,600, not double chance, or plus 1.5, Martin?
Nah, no chance for me. No chance for me. I totally agree with Matt. Burnley can't play against teams that just pass the ball all game. They don't have the quality to live with them in midfield. Burnley seems to be better against... so they play well against some of the big teams like Arsenal, Man United, maybe, when they can get balls into the box and really beat up the opposition. Man City are normally just too slick for them every time they play. It was 5-0. They beat them in the last game, 5-0 earlier this season. The time before that, it was 5-0. They've won 4 of their last 5 games against... they've won 5 in a row against Burnley, and 4 of them have been to 0. So Burnley have scored just once in their last 5 games against Man City, and they've been battered every time. They barely see any of the ball. And Man City are just looking so solid defensively at the moment. They were able to rest John Stones last time out. I expect he'll come back into the team alongside Diaz or Laporte for this one. I think they'll just dominate possession and win maybe 2-0, 3-0, something like that. They've got to concede eventually, but I think they can shut out Burnley as well.
Okay, let's move on. Liverpool minus 290, draw plus 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485, 485,
Yeah, difficult game for Liverpool because Brighton have taken 7 points from their last 3 matches, and they're starting to get the results that their performances have deserved. Obviously, well done to Liverpool for bouncing back after a difficult month with 2 wins at the end, and they still remain in contention for the title. I think they're the ones that are going to run Man City the closest this season. Just the injury problems that they've had have been horrific. Apparently, they're in the market for 2 pretty unknown central defenders today on deadline. Don't think they'll be ready to go into the team for this. So we'll probably have Williams and Henderson again or something like that at the back. Leaves them a bit light in midfield where Bissouma's quite strong. But overall, you've got to say that Liverpool are going to win the game. Just not quite sure how they're going to win it if they do. And at odds of -290, I don't really want to be messing around with unders, overs, win to nil, anything like that when I know how good Brighton are. So I've got to pass it.
Okay, is it a pass for you, Matt, being the Liverpool fan?
So I think that it's a really good match right here. This is a really, really good match. And I think that it's kind of, one of those where I've passed it for now, but this is maybe like the secret, like SBR, like play here, because I think that Brighton +1.5 is worth a look. I really do. I think that this one is going to be decided by 1 goal. I believe that Liverpool can scrape it here, but Brighton, I mean, they're going to be really tough to play. I've watched this matchup multiple times. Brighton know how to hang in there. They just hung in there with Tottenham, and they got what they deserved. They were all over Tottenham, to be fair, actually. I mean, they were completely the better side. I wanted to take them yesterday, but the market had moved so much. But yes, the Ben Davies signing for Liverpool, I've never watched so much YouTube. I've never watched so many YouTube clips from a player in the championship before. I've watched 20 minutes of YouTube clips on this guy. He looks pretty good. I don't know a ton about him, but they need as much help as they can get here. I think that Brighton, maybe even +2 is worth of like a parlay piece because I don't see Liverpool winning this by 3 goals. I really do not. All right. That is where I've left this one. Brighton +1.5 looks really good to me.
Okay, but no official, no?
Nothing official.
Okay. Spurs +245, draw +250, Matt. And Chelsea at +125 looks a bang-on draw to me. I'm probably going to play this, but because it's the last game of the week, I'll see how the other ones go. Because remember, I've got an 1,800 bet going. So Chelsea +125, do you trust them?
I do. I like the way that they're looking right now under Tuchel. I do. I just think that, I mean, they're going to talk about being able to keep the ball and dominate this game. Chelsea will be the ones on the front foot for the majority of this match. They just need to protect themselves against the counterattack from Son, and they should get 3 points. That is how I see this. Bale looks just out of it. It's Son or nothing here. And that's really all I see Spurs right now with no Kane. It is a one-man show. Stop Son, win the match. Chelsea -1/4 of a goal here. Normally I go with the +1/4 of a goal. I like Chelsea here -1/4 at +100. So if the match does draw, I only lose half my stake. I think that Chelsea win this match, and I just don't like where Spurs are right now. I think they're in a bad run of form, and the Kane injury. We've seen this year after year. When Kane goes out, they struggle. They still haven't fixed that. I think that Thomas Tuchel, the manager bounce here, the rise here, I believe that we're going to see it, and I think that Chelsea here grab all 3 points.
Martin, do you see this could be a possible 0-0?
Yeah, I do see it being a possible 0-0. It was 0-0 when they played earlier in the season. I'm always a bit wary of betting against Jose Mourinho when he comes up against a manager with a big reputation, especially when it's a Chelsea manager. We know what sort of ego Mourinho's got, and he's not going to want to be outfoxed by Tuchel, who has taken his old job. So I think he'll raise his game. He'll have the team fired up. Whether that's enough for Spurs to get a result, I'm not sure, because they have been playing really badly at the moment. So yeah, I've got to pass this one. But I'll be cheering on Chelsea for Matt, and and for Arsenal to finish above Tottenham this season, of course.
Freddie, put the picks up, please, mate. I'm not hanging about now. Two-team parlay coming up. Make sure you got them ready for me, boys. Arsenal draw no bet, -160. Man United to win and under 4.5 goals at -105. Newcastle under 2.5 goals in the game at -130. Man City win to nil at -110. West Ham double chance, -138. Matt's picks. Man City win to nil at -107. Chelsea plus, that says plus, but you mean minus, didn't you?
Yes, minus.
Minus 0.25 at +100. So that's Chelsea minus. Okay, here we go. Flash's picks. I've done the draw at half-time in the Newcastle, Villa and Sheffield United games. And I've done 3 doubles and a treble. That's 4 units. And that pays 1,800. If you get just 2 of them, you're going to lose half a unit. So I think that's great odds. And see all 3 of them games being very tight first half. And Man United -1.5 on the Asian handicap at +130. Two-team parlay, please, gents. Martin.
I kind of want to go for Arsenal draw no bet.
What price?
-160.
-160, draw no bet. We're not messing about. Arsenal, draw no bet. Matt Lawrence.
I like it. I wanted to say I am adding United and under 4.5 goals. I think that is that's going to be my third play.
All right. So what about your two-team parlay?
Okay, so I'm looking at through Spurs' schedule right now. You guys have got to see this. I mean, they've won 2 out of their last 9. One of those wins is against Sheffield United. The other is against that 3-0 beatdown that they gave to Leeds, 3-0, where they just kept counterattacking them. I mean, they're in such bad form.
So what are you going for in the two-team parlay, Matt?
Oh, the two-team parlay. I think Manchester United win.
Okay, Man United under 4.5, yeah?
Or Brighton +2. I had Brighton +2 at -220.
But neither of these are even on your official picks, and yet you want to put one of your non-official picks on a parlay?
Yeah, no, let's go Brighton +2. I'm sorry, Brighton +2. I think that they hang in there with Liverpool.
And what price is that?
That is -220.
Brighton +2. And it's -220.
Yeah.
And your 2 official picks were what?
My 2 officials are City win to nil, Chelsea -0.25, and I'm wanting to add the United and under 4.5 goals. I think that you guys are spot on with that game.
Okay, so Man United and under 4.5 goals is what price?
-110.
Well, that's going in then, because all 3 of us agree on that.
Yep.
We're going to go with that.
That's
Two-team parlay is Arsenal draw no bet at -160 and Man United to win and under 4.5 goals at -110. Now, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button, ring the bell. Ring the bell means that I'll notify you and you'll never miss any content again. If you press the link in the description, that'll take you over to articles wrote by either Martin or Tan or Alex. And we have every article to go with every single sport that we cover here on SBR. Listen, 124 of you watching. Really appreciate it. Let's get this week off to an absolutely brilliant start. We've got so many games. There's 73 of you thumbs up. So if you haven't pressed a thumbs up, please press the thumbs up on the way out. Two-team parlay. Arsenal draw no bet at -160. And Man United to win and under 4.5 at -110. Matt, Martin, we'll see you again on Thursday. Let's hope that Tuesday and Wednesday brings us plenty winners. And remember, +1,800 for my 3 doubles and a treble. You take care.